Ignorance is bliss.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. And so we're back to continue our study on demonology. And so, yeah, for those who haven't seen any of the previous videos, we've just started to look at what was it, Psalm 21, Psalm 23, I think. Can you brothers remind me? Was it Psalm 23? I think Psalm 23 and Psalm 91. And then we looked at Surah Nas. And yeah, then we started to look at Iblis, the verses regarding Iblis, which the first snapshot that anyone gets regarding Iblis in the Quran is in the first big surah, which is Surah Baqarah after Surah Fatiha. And so we looked at those 10 verses from verse 30 to verse 39. And yeah, so we're just going to be continuing looking at Iblis. And yeah, we'll just carry on this journey into looking at everything related to demonology. Yeah, so the plan is Iblis, and then maybe we can move on to Jinn or whatever seems to be the next thing to have a look at. So yeah, before we do that, Assalamu alaikum, brothers Joel and brother Igor.
Salam.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam. Hopefully, brother Sadi and brother Imran will be joining us as soon as they are available. But we'll get going for now. Okay, so yes, on actually, yeah, we should begin with a lot of. I've been thinking about the last conversation actually, and there was a lot of things that were said in there that didn't sink in until I listened to it for the second time. So let me just bring up an example of that. Yep, verse 30. Okay. So, you got me thinking, Brother Igor, yes, will you place in it someone who will work corruption in it and shed blood? And you also got me thinking about when you mentioned about what is it that happened when Adam alayhi salam was taught the names? You said that it was Iblis that was exposed. When he said these names, it was Iblis that was exposed, the imposter that clearly did not belong there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, that's correct. I have to kind of preface that with basically we don't have definitive proof of that
Hmm.
other than some kind of a, you know, more vague idea, which, it has to make sense in the context of the story.
Right.
Because what seems to be the case with Satan
Mm.
and, his followers is that
Yeah.
they're concealed from us.
Right.
So obviously the best thing you can do to protect yourself from that is
Mm.
to expose the retreating whisperer.
Right.
And I
Right.
don't know if they were actually taught the names of the he was actually taught the names of the angels
Mhm.
to kind of let that knowledge sink in for the angels and for Adam as well.
Mhm.
But that's to me like the kind of Occam's razor of the discussion. Like the simplest explanation is
Yep.
that it was regarding the angels. So
Mhm.
of course there's something regarding the angels. Why Shaitan,
Mhm.
Iblis,
Mhm.
has any association with the angels whatsoever? It
Right.
should raise some eyebrows because clearly the angels don't have full knowledge, not
Right.
even close. And it wouldn't surprise me the craftiness of Iblis to be
Mhm.
able to deceive the most really the most intelligent human at one point, Adam alayhi salam, because you have to imagine that this is the perfect template that Allah
Yes.
created that's been
Yep.
degenerating since then.
The original specimen, you could say
Yep.
yes. Yep.
And the angels in a similar way are
Undiluted.
purified,
Undiluted. Yep.
right?
Yep.
The original, right?
Mm. Mm.
um and basically it seems like Ibliss is just very, very good at deception,
Mm,
like on a different level, that he was able to dispossess Adam and all his progeny from paradise,
mm,
the original birthright of mankind,
mhm,
as well as give the angels an impression
mhm,
that was incorrect,
mhm.
because Allah tells the angels, I know that which you do not know. So clearly, logically speaking, the angels said something
Mhm.
which you can construe as from Satan, because he teaches people to say things about Allah that they do not know.
Ah,
So
interesting. Even
to
more
me,
so. Yeah,
it's
yeah, you're
I'm
right.
not
That's one.
saying that.
That's another signature.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yep. Yeah. As well
I'm
as.
not saying the angels commit blasphemy,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
but basically, their innocence speaks to how Satan manipulates people over time. Because we're
Right.
born as babies,
Mm.
in a similar way to angels, they're just innocent.
Yep.
And they don't understand what kind of
Thank
world
you.
this is, that there are
Thank
forces at work against them.
thank you. So you just said we are innocent, and therefore this corruption and blood has to come from the one that we know carries that signature of the corruption and blood. Otherwise,
Yeah,
yeah, I think
yeah.
my understanding was traditionally yeah, this is referring to mankind. Before we go any further, actually, let me say this because this
It
is,
could also refer to mankind, right? Because mankind
yeah, mm.
succumbs to humanity, and
Fair,
they enter
yes, in that
Satan
sense,
or
yes,
devil
yes,
designation.
yes, yes, in that sense.
So
But I
it's all
mean,
about roles.
yeah, if you think about it, it's like Allah didn't create us for causing corruption and shedding blood. But yes, like how you said, we would be influenced by the one that does cause or does want to create corruption and blood. So therefore, yes, that would include those who succumb to his whispers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, before we go any further, yeah, let me just say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. Okay, yeah, so let's seek protection. Yeah, let's seek refuge in Allah from the whisperer, yeah, from playing with our minds. Anyway, moving forward. Yeah, so Brother Joel said that, yeah, he didn't believe either that this could be referring to Adam alayhi salam or his progeny. Um, yeah, and he taught Adam the names, all of them. Then he presented them to the angels. Yeah, I just want to think if there was anything else that came up in that knowledge except what you've taught us. Um, yeah, but that does resonate that the imposter was exposed. That resonates massively in this scenario. Um,
It's also with story of Fir'aun as well, because Fir'aun has a contest between him and Musa and Harun.
mm,
And, and Musa is the one that actually selects the date for that contest to
right.
prove who is really the victorious one.
Mm,
And it's some kind of a very important date
mm,
or holiday or observance
mm,
at that time in that culture, because everybody was basically under the impression in that society that Pharaoh was God.
mm,
So what ended up happening is that was taken away from him, and he
right,
was exposed for being mortal.
right. Okay.
And so it's the same idea that,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm. So
yeah,
with this tree that they were prohibited from approaching, it does seem like to me that this is speaking of a tree of knowledge, yeah, not going to what Shaitan would invite you to, basically. That's what it seems like to me. And yes, my question is, because we have been speaking about this as well, about this nakedness, right? That they say, that then because this is what the story that we're told, that then they, how does it go? Satan caused them to slip from it, and he caused them to depart the state that they were in. So what is that exactly, the state that they were in? Yeah, he caused them to slip. 36. Right. Oh, that's strange. This one does not have removed from them that condition in which they had been. Okay. They from it. Okay, from the condition that they were in. So can you has anyone got anything on that? The condition that they were in, their state changed.
There's a yeah, so it's like, you know, Adam was created in paradise,
Hmm.
and basically Allah describes somewhere in the Quran that the form of his creation enabled him to be not scorched by the sun
Hmm.
or never hungry. This could be attesting to that condition that he was dispossessed of.
Right.
So basically, like his biology, his physiology
Hmm.
was optimal for wherever he was living,
All right.
and as long as he remained in that state,
Hmm.
he would be like. I'm not saying that it's like an ultimate paradise that we expect
Mm.
after the dunya is dissolved,
Yeah.
but it's some kind of a temporal primordial state that was way, way, way better than anything you can see on Earth today.
Right.
And for some reason, if Ibliss was the one to basically offer him something better than that, which
Hmm.
is the immortality of the angels,
Right.
then clearly that's not the ultimate state, but it's still a much, much better starting point than any of us are given in life
Right.
from the get go. And
Okay.
so this is
What
the
do,
tree that he eats from, right?
yeah. Well, now that you
That
mentioned
causes
that,
that.
what do you think about those who say that they have seen heaven and hell? Because this is another one of Jerry's recommendations, Heaven and Hell by Emanuel Swedenborg, and I know it's it's a famous yeah, he's a famous author, famous book, and yeah, so I'm just wondering, is this the case that people get to actually see? Is it something that is it something that's already there, or is it that they've
Yeah.
actually transgressed, or they've peeked into a different time period as well? Is it that they have got to see something? Yeah, tell me about that. What do you think?
Is he referring to just correct me if I'm wrong, but is he referring to people that enter like a medical death and then they come back and then they describe their experience,
Yeah, something like this. Something like this.
like a near death
Yeah,
experience,
near-death
whatever.
experience. Yeah, something special happens to them, and then they come
Right.
back. They've witnessed. So this is very
Well,
this one he's referenced quite a bit. Emmanuel Swedenborg, that
yeah,
and people refer to his book to see basically, yeah, what hell looks like, what heaven looks like. I haven't read the book, but yeah, I'm just wondering because we do get to hear a lot of people say. Not just Emmanuel Swedenborg, a lot of people make this claim, don't they, of what they got to see from a near-death experience. So yeah, I'm just
yeah,
wondering, is Jannah, is paradise, something still yet to be discovered?
yeah,
Do they get access to see something else? Is that
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
what.
Because it's in the word as well. Like
Right.
Jannah
Mm,
is related to jinn
mm,
because it's concealed. So that
mm,
means that it does exist,
mm,
and we can debate how that is possible. But
mm.
just be, advised that the nature of our cosmology has been totally stripped of us.
Right.
And so, when Allah says He's preparing the fire,
Mm,
the Jahannam speaks to him,
mm,
that Jannah, that the heavens and earth speak to him.
mm,
Um, basically, there's this idea that at least partially there's some aspect like a seed for the hereafter
mm.
is already there,
Right.
and as our approaches, it starts to get more pronounced
Right.
on either side.
Hmm.
Even the people that die,
Right.
which like in your last few videos is related to sleep
Hmm.
and dreaming,
Mm.
then they are told that they are in some kind of a provision state, or they experience
Right.
gardens, things like that. So it's like, Allah is outside of time, so the way He describes things can feel not intuitive to us.
Right.
But I think if these people do experience something like a dream state where their soul is like whisked somewhere,
Yep.
then maybe, I mean, it doesn't make sense to us. It's outside it's non-physical, right? So perhaps they do actually have some idea of this, because it's like a dream, right?
Right.
When you're sleeping, you're in a state of death.
Mm-hmm.
And that dream is when He takes your souls. He takes your souls in your manam, in your
Right.
dreams.
Right.
So where does that go? Where does that soul go? Well, people would say it's the barzakh.
Mm-hmm.
And this barzakh idea is like a mid-ground where everything collides, where you can kind of, I don't know, man. This is like
It's
hard
deep.
to really wrap your mind around, but
Yeah, exactly. I know. I don't think we're ever going to truly know exactly, but yes, we can try. But yeah, so what's coming to mind as we're quickly reviewing those 10 verses from Surah Baqarah, where we first get the snapshot of Ibliss and what happened. So yeah, my conclusion was that this tree cannot be any other tree except for the tree of knowledge, from Shaitan, because Allah does speak about two trees in the Quran. Yeah, the good tree and the bad tree. And Allah also says that if you go to the evil tree, Allah lets the dhalim, the oppressors. So Allah says here, who becomes the dhalim? The one who goes to that tree that Allah forbid Adam alayhi salam from going to, him and his wife, Hawa alayhi salam. So yeah, my question right now is that verse, and so they ate from it, and their nakedness became exposed to them, and they began covering themselves with the leaves of the garden. So again, is this whole thing, because it seems like to me now that this whole thing is metaphorical, that this nakedness is, I don't know, is this literal now? I don't know, because it does sound like a bit like the, obscenities that we were speaking of that Shaitan invites people towards, right?
Assalamu alaikum, brother Sadi.
Salams, brother.
I don't know if he's muted or not.
Probably still.
Walaikum salam, my brothers. Yep.
Okay.
I'm
Yep.
here.
Yep. Alhamdulillah. So yeah, for anyone, this question, because like I said, there's two trees that Allah speaks of, the good tree and the bad tree, and so we've just looked at this.
Yeah, as we spoke about in the last episode, tree of life versus tree of good and evil.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the tree of good and evil is the tree of knowledge.
That's just it, though. I had a look at that, and that's from the Bible, and I try not to let that interfere with what
Yes.
I'm looking at. I know exactly what you're speaking of, and I think that that is a bit of a diversion. So let me bring that up. Tree of evil. What is it? How does it go? Tree of life. Tree of life.
Tree of life and tree of good and evil.
Yeah, I did have a look at that, but I disregarded it because I've found that this is how really good study of the Quran takes place, by disregarding all of this. Tree of life and tree.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you don't want to superimpose other.
No, but I'm glad you brought it up, because this is what people will think, because a lot of people will be familiar. Like how you mentioned, Dr. Omar Zaid, he also said this. So yes, you've got this, but you see, the thing is, Allah speaks of two clear, distinct trees, yeah? One tree, whereas this one seems like it's a bit grayish, because you've got the tree of life, which seems to be good. Let me bring this up. And then you've got also the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which also seems to have good stuff. Well, the reasoning is good. Allah recommends that. Okay, envy and jealousy is not. Disharmony, fornication. Yeah, well,
So I
even
do not
reason.
want to superimpose this on the Quranic understanding, but just from this image, what I can understand is that the tree of life is just a holistic, spiritual way of viewing the world, whereby the tree of good and evil, even as you can see, there's human reasoning there. So it's like
Right.
very logical, very scientific. It's like it's a scientific method. It's
Yeah.
all measured,
Yeah.
and it disregards the ethereal,
Mm.
the spiritual aspects of
Yep.
existence.
Yeah.
So that is just one thing that I can
Mm.
think of.
Right.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, it's giving off that signature that I've become accustomed to now, which is the hadith outside of the Quran, which includes the Bible. You get good things, and then you get very strange things alongside with that. And so, yeah, I think human reasoning should not be in this mix, because this is something that Allah repeatedly tells us to do, to use our reasoning faculties. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and in this tree, which is supposed to be good, I don't know. Is that the right thing? Long suffering.
Well,
Uh,
human reasoning is very interesting because human reasoning can also be used to propagate evil. For example,
true.
uh,
Right.
the nation that shall not be named
Mm.
at this moment, which is waging perpetual evil and
Right.
genocide
Yeah.
against a certain denomination of people,
Yeah.
are using
Right.
reasoning, and all throughout
Mm.
history, evil dictators have used their own reasoning
Mm.
for propagating evil.
Yeah.
So I think when reasoning is there's a hidden force behind reasoning, which is love, joy, peace,
Mm.
basically love. I
Yeah.
think that reasoning falls in line with what Allah wants.
Yes.
But if reasoning
Mm.
is used as a weapon
Mm.
as a rational weapon to perpetuate evil,
Mm.
then you're serving the left-hand path of
Mhm.
Satan,
Mm.
basically.
Mm.
Is what I can say.
Yeah, it's a very good point because it seems like you can boil everything down to pairs. And in this
Yes.
instance, I think you can see that knowledge and morality, they go hand in hand in a sense. If
Mm.
you have knowledge but no morality,
Yep.
then yeah, you would be
Mm.
corrupting the earth. But if you have morality but no knowledge, you would be the one oppressed
Mm.
because
Absolutely.
you have
Absolutely.
no power.
Mm.
You have no
So
power. Yeah.
it's almost like the story of Snow White where she's given an apple or a fruit,
Mhm.
and there's something not natural about that fruit because it has a poison in it.
Mm.
Hmm.
Like, you could even say a worm in the apple.
Yeah. Oh,
And I have to wonder, is there
parasite.
something
Yeah.
about
Hmm.
the fruit from that tree,
Mm.
whether
Yes.
it's
Is
metaphysical or literal,
Mm.
that cause mankind to slip, as the
subliminal
Quran says?
messaging. Yep.
Yeah,
I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, the worm in the apple, right? The parasite. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm not saying it's an apple or anything, but the
Yeah.
idea, it's like,
Fruit.
um,
Full stop. Yeah.
since
Yes.
that event,
Mm.
Beni Adam
Mm.
have never been the same.
Mm. Mm.
So,
Absolutely.
like, we have a completely different existence
Yeah.
since that time,
Mhm.
since that exact event
Yeah.
took place.
Yes.
And, in Kabbalah, they
Mm.
actually reference that very kind of infamous drawing that they call the Sephiroth,
Mhm.
that actually is called the Tree of Life.
Right.
It's actually called a tree. And I
Yeah.
have to wonder, like, is that by accident or not?
Mm.
Or is there
Yes.
some
Yes. You're
association
right.
with that
Yes. Yes.
and this story?
Yes. You're right. Yeah.
I also have a unique, perhaps, reflection on all of this, in
Yes.
that brother Igor said, in indulging in that fruit, the forbidden fruit,
Mhm.
uh, changed Banu Adam forever. I, for one, think that perhaps the genetic makeup of Banu Adam was maybe Allah caused a lot of our genes to be permanently switched off,
Mm.
and these genes, would not have been needed in that environment, in the environment of heaven.
Mm.
But perhaps indulging
Right.
in this fruit would
Mm.
have turned on via epigenetics many genes that changed Banu Adam's physiology
Mm.
permanently.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
this is very possible,
I want to also add too, because Owais was mentioning the private parts that became apparent to both Adam and his spouse.
This is my question.
Because it's not inconceivable. It's actually very logical. I've heard this mentioned before. That basically one of these trees was a tree that its fruit produced waste if it's ingested. And so that's why, like, if you actually eat from this, being in a condition where you don't produce waste, your private parts are not apparent to you, because you're eating something in a form that's incorruptible. But let's say if you eat from this tree, then you realize, wait a second, I have to use the washroom, and
it needs to come out. Yep, it needs to come out.
Yeah, so that's why in the verse where it says like private parts, that's actually more specifically to do with excretion, or like
yes,
I see.
Production of waste.
Perhaps those genes that were switched on were ones that would cause human beings to need to excrete, because
and need to reproduce as well.
Need to reproduce. Yep.
So that means what you're telling me. Okay. So this is quite good, because when I asked this question, I was looking for confirmation for what I thought, which was that this is a metaphorical thing, yeah, meaning that because as far as I can see, this in Surah Baqarah, this tree, I was leading towards that this is a metaphorical tree, because Allah speaks about the tree of the good tree and the bad tree. And it's clear that Shaitan invites towards knowledge from the bad tree. So I thought that this is metaphorical, but now what you're saying, looking at this, tells me that no, it was possibly both, right? Because
one thing is that if the tree was meant to be metaphorical, other things could have been used as well, like ocean, as Sheikh Imran Hussein says, ocean of knowledge. But I just wanted to point out that tree is very important, because even in mythology, trees are very significant. For example, in Norse mythology, you have Yggdrasil, the tree. And then in the Quran, you also have Sidratul Muntaha, the tree of Zaqqum. So tree is tree is very tied to cosmology. This is what I am finding out. And this is the tree in Norse mythology that is called Yggdrasil, which is like the center point, as far as I know.
For me, I mean, I don't say that I know what our cosmology looks like, but I always lean towards this for some reason. I always lean towards this.
There's a lot to like, for instance, that same verse, if you look at it, it says that the good tree has its branches in the heaven.
That's right, exactly.
So they'll put sky in there.
You can see it right
here. It doesn't make sense.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, in the heaven.
Where is it? What you just said? Yes, and its branches are in the heavens, yes. So do you not see how Allah sets forth in the example that a good speech is like a good tree? Yes, so this is obviously encouraging us good works versus bad works. Yeah, this is ultimately what this
also,
is.
do you know what's very interesting, Brother Owais, is like I understand the metaphor, the parable that's used in that verse, but it's like when you do any metaphor or any parable in your own life, you say this is like this. You're not going to use as an example something that's fictitious necessarily, because you're trying to use something that everybody's familiar with to describe something a little bit more complex. Right?
Yes.
So it's like a good tree. So clearly, like, I mean, whether people want to deny it or not, that's the word that Allah chose to use.
Absolutely.
And basically, like, it's up to us to conceptualize this exact metaphor that's used to make things easier to understand, right? Even the Arabic language is organized in what are called roots.
Right.
So you see a direct connection in the Arabic language between roots
Mhm.
and words.
Oh, yes. Well, this is another thing.
Yes,
Yes, you're right. You're right. Exactly.
if
Language is like the tree. Yes. Language is following the tree from the seeds to the
Yeah.
root, the trunk,
ex-
to the branches. Absolutely. All knowledge
And
is, yes, it's always goes back to the tree. Yeah. So
where
it
does the revelation come down?
ultimately, this world is about knowledge. Yeah. It always goes back to knowledge, right? It always goes back to knowledge.
that's an
Yeah.
excellent
And
point,
yeah.
brother Igor. That in that you basically pointed out that Allah is using this language as if it's targeted
Mm.
towards the audience that's reading it. Like Allah could have used ocean, Allah could have used waters, right? If to make an analogy, but He used tree.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
also are metaphors in a sense as
Yes.
trees are, because
Yes.
our
Fruits.
feet are planted firmly, exactly like the tree has roots in the
Mm.
ground.
Mm.
Also,
So
just
it's
one more
almost like,
tangent. Yep. Sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, sorry. Is it?
Yeah.
Sorry. Right.
Sadi, yeah, go for it, Sadi, yeah.
I was also saying that in biogeology now, like there's a lot of interesting finding. Like all of a sudden you see these titanic trees
Mm.
as if they are like evidence of a world past gone, and they give us
Right.
like clues about how the world could have been
Mhm.
before the flood,
Yeah.
so to
Yeah,
speak.
and science actually acknowledges the existence of titanic biology, whether they're plants or animals.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of how long ago did that happen. But
Mm.
it's acknowledged that megafauna and megaflora existed.
Mm.
So
Absolutely.
it's
Yep.
just how big as well,
Yep.
because I think that their versions are much, much, much smaller than what the Quran would allude to.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. So with this verse in Surah Baqarah, okay. So I've moved away from thinking that this is entirely metaphorical. Devil's Tower. Should I look at Devil's Tower? Hold on. Devil's
Yeah,
Tower.
you should pull that up actually, Awais, because I think people maybe don't understand what titanic trees encompasses.
Right.
Magnitude. Just look
Yeah.
at this
Yeah,
thing.
the scale.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, even in hadith, right? People are under the impression in Islam
Mm.
that Adam was 70 cubits tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60
Okay.
cubits, 70 cubits.
This is basically a giant tree stump, yeah. And
Yes.
they make this out to be not a giant tree stump. They say this is
Yeah.
something.
If you look at like maybe close-up pictures
Yeah.
of the rock formation,
Yeah.
basically they say that this is a result of a lava flow.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
this lava flow accounts for geometrically perfect hexagonal,
Yes.
what they're called, like
Yep.
like exactly as you would see wood grow.
Well, here's your normal
There's
tree.
even a
Here's
fungus
your
that
here's
looks
your
like
normal
that.
tree. Here's your normal tree, and here's that tree.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And
And just the
this
stump,
actually
and
got
that is just the stump. It's been cut off, chopped off.
You know what's crazy also is that it's called Devil's Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's called Devil's Tower. And then the other thing is that that was on the cover of a science fiction movie called Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes,
It was about aliens.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I'm familiar. Steven Spielberg, yes? No.
That's right.
Steven
Steven Spielberg, yeah, I think you're right.
Close Encounters.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is
There it
actually
is.
a term in ufology.
Yep. Yeah.
It's actually some type of like abduction or something.
Yep. They have
with
it right there.
people that are contacted.
I'm familiar with this, yes.
There it is with the lights around.
They have it in the movie, yes. The UFO coming down onto that bit. Yep. Okay, so tree significance. Let's go straight back to that. So okay, so this tree that Allah says, do not approach this tree. Yeah, it looks like it's both a literal and a metaphorical, in my opinion. But Satan caused them to slip from it. So this nakedness was real as well. It was literal. It wasn't just the case that they became aware of doing
Yeah.
sin, committing sins or doing
Our,
evil things.
right. Our biology also reflects the relative shape of trees, because if you think about it, you raise your hands to the sky, and along with your head, this is what the true peace sign looks like in runes.
Right.
It has like branches, like your hands or your arms, and the roots, which are like your feet. And the idea is, Fir'aun is the one accused of wanting to crucify people to trees.
Right.
If you look at how the position of what people understand to be the crucifixion kind of posture, that's identical to how trees grow, in a sense. We have like a similar terminology for human anatomy and for plant or tree anatomy. Like you have a trunk, that's your spine.
Right.
And a tree has a trunk, and it's like, or even the torus field that people talk about,
yes,
has exactly the same, very strangely similar to what Brother Sadiu mentioned with Yggdrasil,
yes,
where the branches
you're
are
right.
just envelop the world.
The similarities are uncanny. Yes,
This is very, very similar. It's absolutely uncanny. Yes, especially that picture, the Taurus movement meditation. It's, yeah.
And this is why probably we call the human body a torso.
Yes,
because it's related to Taurus.
Thank you. Yes, that's another one. Yep, Taurus.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Even the spine of a book.
Yeah.
Right. Allah talks about books quite a bit.
Yes. Yes.
We use the human anatomy for this as well.
What's the spine of the spine of a book? You're right. Yes, I see what you're saying. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And books are made from trees.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So descend from it. Yeah, but okay. So before we move on from this passage and look at the next passage on Ibliss, ultimately, what I see here, and it's amazing, I think, that we are reflecting the story of Adam alayhi salam, as you said. We are enacting this story basically today, and it does seem like to me that just like he was tricked, just like Adam alayhi salam was tricked, we are tricked, and we have the same opportunity that Allah is giving Adam alayhi salam here. You're now in a test. This is what what is it? Where does it go? Then Adam received words from his Lord. We've received words from Allah. We've got the Quran, yeah? Adam received words from his Lord, so he accepted his repentance. How do we repent? We have that guidance in the Quran. Allah is the acceptor of repentance, At-Tawwabur Rahim, the merciful. And so what does Allah say finally on this? Whenever guidance comes to you from me, and we have guidance from Allah, whoever follows my guidance, what is that? It's the Quran, yeah? The Quran. Whoever follows my guidance, they have nothing to fear, nor will they grieve. So this is what was told to Adam alayhi salam, but it reflects our situation as well. We're waking up today to many things that we've done wrong, and now now's our opportunity to repent. And this is ultimately the Quran is our saving grace. But as for those who do kufr, those who do kafru and deny Allah's ayat, so we know the ayat are in the Quran as well as in Allah's creation. The ayat are in the Quran. So those who deny and cover up the ayat, these are the inmates of the fire where they will remain forever. So Allah is saying, who has no fear, who has nothing to fear, who has nothing to grieve? Those who follow my guidance, which is the Quran. And so therefore, who does have something to fear? Who does have something to grieve? It's the next one. Those who cover up and deny the ayat. They are the ones who have something to fear. They are the ones who are grieving. And today, obviously, they're trying to push so much fear onto us. So I just wanted to emphasize finally what it was with Adam alayhi salam. He had the opportunity of success ultimately. No fear, no grief. Follow my guidance. Everything will be fine. Yeah.
I have added, little detail about why there is a value to metaphors and kind of this metaphysical understanding of something that could be literal. But I think that the layers of the wisdom behind these literal things is like uncountable. So we call these plants trees, right? And have you ever thought about why that word is selected for that plant, the actual sound of that word. Because true is related to it.
Wow.
Etymologically.
Go on.
So, for instance, the word tree derives from Greek, from different languages. And what does it mean? It means something firm, it means something steady.
Wow. Okay.
Secure.
So you just now connected the word tree
robust
with true, by saying that, yeah, ultimately,
true.
Okay, so anything that is true is solid like a tree. I get it. Yeah, this is amazing.
It's undeniable. It's an extension of the Greek word doru. And this is actually in Slavic languages. This is how people call trees, drvo.
Yes. Well, this is what I've
it's everywhere.
Again, I'll quote Sheikh Imran Hussein as well, just like Sadi did, because yeah, this is what we learn, isn't it? The nature of the truth is that it remains. Yeah, it doesn't matter who dances up and down and says this and that. Whoever, if it's the truth, it does remain to be the truth, and if it is false,
that's robust, sure.
It disappears.
Faithful.
Yeah.
Even the people called druids are related to that as well. People that hold the knowledge.
Interesting. Okay.
Right. So it's like
druids are always depicted with relation to trees, right?
Yeah, because that's what they're named after.
Right. The tree people. Okay, so let me have a quick glance at the next extract, see if there's anything for us to have a look at there. 710. 710. Okay, 710. Okay, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. We have established you on earth, and we placed means of livelihood for you in it, but rarely do you give thanks. We created you, then we shaped you. Then we said to the angels, bow down before Adam. So they bowed down, or they did sujood, except for Ibliss. He was not among those who did sujood. He was not among as-sajideen. I'm just going to quickly read this extract, and then you can let me know if there's anything that you feel we need to speak about. He said, what prevented you from bowing down when I commanded you? He said, I am better than he. You created me from fire, and you created him from clay. I know this is a translation, and I'm sure there are many things that aren't quite accurate, but I'm just going to read them to get the gist. He said, then go down from it. It is not for you to act arrogantly in it. So get out. You are one of the disgraced. So Allah said this to Ibliss, yeah? We're looking at Ibliss. Allah said this to Ibliss when he complained ultimately that I'm created from fire and you created him from tween. Go down from it. He said, then go down from it. It is not for you. Yep, he is not for you. 20. Okay. It is not for you to act arrogantly in it. So get out. You are one of the disgraced. He said, give me time until the day they are resurrected. Okay. So that is Yawmul Qiyamah. Oh, well, the Yubathun, Ba'atha, the day of, resurrection ultimately, he said, you are of those given time. So Allah gave him time, reprieve. He said, because you have lured me, I will ambush them on your straight path. Yes, familiar with this one. I will come at them from their front and from their back and from their right and from their left. And you will not find most of them thankful. We do need to talk about this because this seems to be, again, what Jerry's talking about, which is the whispers or the voices, as he refers to them as, he says the voices access your memory and remind you of your past. So that seems like to me how Shaitan gets you from our back, behind us. And so for me, front and back seems to be depression about the past and anxiety about the future. And left and right seems to be how Shaitan always gives us these two options, which are ultimately wrong, because ours is the middle, the balanced path, the middle path, which is the right one. So it seems like to me that this is ultimately what that is. But yeah, if you guys feel like you want to
can you just go back to the picture of the toroid field? Because this ayah number 17 is reminding me of that. So what it seems to it seems to me that and you guys can give me your opinion. It seems to me that every human being has the capability or potential,
Hmm.
if they are firmly rooted in the truth,
Hmm.
to emanate this field around them and to reflect this energy.
Hmm.
And it could in fact Allah's protection then becomes stronger over this person,
Hmm.
and it stifles the enemy, the shayateen.
Hmm.
However, if people are inclined or involved deep in sin and ignorance,
Hmm.
particularly ignorance, then it seems to me that this field, which is like a depiction of that human being's potential, is
Hmm.
stifled.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in place of this holy energy around this person,
Yeah.
it's actually the shayateen who are
Yeah.
attacking this person and engulfing this person's thoughts and decisions.
Yeah.
But if the person is always striving towards knowledge and truth,
Mm.
the good forces, the light
Mm.
will overcome the darkness.
Mm.
And this is reflected by positive energy
Yeah.
around this field.
I
Yep.
agree. Just like when you've worked out, when you've done a good workout and you've sweated, you are definitely emanating this strong field. And
Yes.
what comes in your direction is usually yeah, something that just does not affect you in the same way as if when your field is weak. So yeah, I agree with you. This right
Absolutely.
front, right, left, front, back. Yeah, it depends on your field ultimately. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. This picture is Heart Math Research, so I think that's Greg Braden, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
Hmm.
he's led the way on this whole understanding about the heart brain. Was it the heart brain connection? Yeah.
The mind and heart, and they're working in perfect sync,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the heart's spirituality is aligning perfectly with the mind's
Mm.
rationality.
Yeah.
And when there is no conflict between the two,
Hmm.
then you have a holistic person.
Hmm.
If a
Exactly.
person's heart overcomes his rationale, it's
Hmm.
also a problem. And if the person's rationale overcomes their heart, that's
Hmm.
also a problem. The strong person is the balanced person, the perfectly balanced person.
Right. Right. Okay. Brother Igor, as I was reading, you referenced 2117. Was that for a reason? Was it 2117 you referenced?
Yeah, 21:17
Yeah.
to 21:22.
Yeah.
So it's like that's where it shows the former state of Adam.
Yes, yes, the
You
nakedness.
go to one, if you go up, scroll up a bit. I think it says one. If you go to 117,
Hmm.
or yeah, 118, 119,
Yep.
you will never go hungry
Yes.
or go naked
Yep. Yep.
or thirsty.
Yep.
Basically, the sun will not affect you. You'll never get like
This
burned
is
or
okay. Okay, this is interesting. Yes, you're right. You'll never go hungry. And what did they do? They ate, so now they are hungry. Yeah. So all of the things that okay, these are our weaknesses. As a result. Yep.
you remember, Brother Awais, where do not follow the footsteps of shaitan comes right after it tells Allah tells you to eat what is lawful and good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, halal
So
and
it's
halal and
connected
tayyib.
Oh,
to
it's
your
connected.
Everyone's obsessed
appetite.
with the halal that is probably not even quite what they understand it to be as halal. But yeah, they've
Yeah.
completely forgotten the tayyib part. Yep. Yep. Okay. Just in case we lost you. Yep. So this passage as well.
Yeah, brother, Joel is saying something in the chat. If
Yeah. Um, yeah. What if the tree of good and evil, cause us to enter a state of polarity thinking, birthing the ego and arrogance? Yes, birthing ego and arrogance. The heart intelligence establishing coherence overrides the polarity thinking of the brain, the two extremes. Musa, alayhi salam, I think, said it in the verse, kill your egos and repent. Nice, yep. So it seems
yeah,
we have to
Your nafs.
abandon,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, nafs. We have to abandon the ego and arrogance before opening the heart and repenting. Absolutely. This is what I've seen time and time again. It only comes when someone says something along the lines of, Ya Allah, let your will be done, not my desire. Something along these
Absolutely.
lines. Something along these lines. This is the moment that I've always found that something truly actually happens when you let go of what it is that you want about this thing, what you want, what you're trying to make it, and then you just completely give in and you say, Ya Allah, let your will be done, whatever is best. And then you see it, and then the doors open up and it's clear. Yeah.
Brother Awais, I don't want to
Yes.
digress that much, but you know, when you show
Mm.
the torus field that Brother Muhammad
Yeah.
brought to our attention,
Mhm.
does this not echo the concept of the Lord as my fortress?
Mm.
Absolutely. This is what I was thinking as well.
So I imagine that
The Lord is my
we don't
shepherd.
obviously
You know
perceive
that
this.
Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd.
Yeah, he
Mm.
is my refuge, my fortress,
Mm.
specifically fortress, because
Mm.
you know, this barrier, it kind of looks like a barrier.
Mm.
And there's so many parallels that Brother Joel and I were discussing at some point,
Yeah.
that if you look at old artwork, they tend to have like fire or a halo or some kind of shimmering thing, aura,
Mm.
around these holy people of God,
Mm.
the people that were, you know, messengers and saints and righteous.
Yeah.
They have some kind of auric field around them. And isn't it interesting? The word aura
Yeah.
and aura
Aura.
is
Oh my God. You're
connected.
connecting another one. Yes.
So
Aura.
look at the very top of that
Absolutely.
field.
Absolutely.
Because
You're right. You're right.
when you talk about a
No,
field, right?
this is a big one. This is a big one. Aura and aura. Absolutely. You're
Or
100%.
aura doesn't just necessarily have to be, although it is your physical, privacy. It
Mm.
also has to be the privacy you hold in the spiritual realm.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
How much are
Yeah,
you open to evil?
Yeah.
right, right. Because look,
Yeah.
if this is down,
Mm.
then these electromagnetic creatures,
Mm.
right? They're made of a fire that's not smoke, that doesn't create smoke, traditionally speaking.
What's
This is
aurora?
electrical.
What's aurora? Brother Joel just said aurora. I know this as in the is it aurora
Aurora borealis, right?
borealis? That's it. I remember that one. Yes, that's what I thought of. Yes. So is this some kind of yeah, some kind of energy field as well? It's interesting, right?
It's
You know
interesting
why, Brother
because,
Oasis?
yeah,
Mm.
Because if
wow.
you look at pictures of the aurora borealis,
Mm.
okay,
Hmm.
and this is also, aurora is another word for twilight as well,
Right.
which in the Quran is called ash-shafaq.
Hmm. Hmm.
But basically, what do you notice about the color
Mm.
of the aurora borealis?
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
green.
yes, yes, yes.
Do you
This is
know what color copper is when it's oxidized and
uh,
burned?
go on.
It's green.
Green. Okay.
So
Well, I was
when
just
people
yeah.
try to transcend the regions of the
Mm.
heavens and the earth, they're sent upon them fire and copper,
Wow.
exactly like we mentioned in our
Mm.
Hey,
product video.
Oh,
interesting.
wow. So
So
that
this is
that 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 ties into what Brother Joel was saying, that
yeah.
this could be the macrocosmic version, the
Yes.
macrocosmic, maybe this energy fortress,
Yeah. Yeah.
energy field fortress against
Yeah.
like satanic transgression.
Yep.
It's
So
it's also like, you know, your heart
mhm,
generates a field,
mhm,
and if you look up the, what do you call it? Um, it's called the Faraday cage.
mhm,
So basically, anything inside that cage
mhm.
is just inaccessible from any electromagnetic influence.
Yep.
You see?
Mm.
Mhm.
So, and they're usually made of copper too,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, this is something that if we don't have taqwa,
Mhm.
enough taqwa,
Yeah.
it will affect us. It
Yeah.
will drain us. And even on the either side of that person with the torus field around them,
Mhm.
I don't know, doesn't it look like wings?
Mm. Yes. Yes. You're right.
Like large wings emanating from the ribs?
Well, clearly,
Because
this is
yeah,
understanding. Once you understand what is invisible to our eye, I think this is where all of the richness comes from. Studying what is
yeah,
invisible to our eye, and this is something that is invisible to
yeah.
us. And so,
And the
therefore,
top part of the torus is like a halo.
mm,
It's like exactly
Mm.
what people used
you're
to
right.
draw on
Yes,
people,
you're right. Yeah, halo. Yes.
which is just really like like the brain itself is protected by a solid barrier.
Yes.
And it's in water.
Yes.
So it's like,
but this is why this whole even the yogic breathing, the posture, the standing, the breathing, even the warrior pose, all of this stuff that you see, it makes sense because you are activating or you are strengthening this field against the invisible enemy, ultimately against the invisible enemy. Yeah.
And they are trying to access what? Your brain.
Yeah.
They're trying to ascend your anatomical body to, influence your brain, because your brain, whether we like it or not, is responsible for all of the emotions, all the perceptions, all of the it's the nervous system is electrical, right? So it has everything tied to it. Just it innervates everything, right? So like if you do an MRI scan, you're basically using a magnetic field to detect the magnetic field in the brain. This is known that the brain creates its own magnetic field. The heart seems to be both, and the gut seems to be electrical. And you can check this for yourself too. It's pretty mind-blowing, because we have in our body reflection of what's in the earth, in the dunya. And that's why he attacks mankind from their front, which is between their hands, literally between their hands, and from their succeeding them, min khalfihim, because these are also congruent with geographic directions of east and west respectively. This is not an accident.
Yes, I mean,
I like how Brother Igor said. I like how Brother one second. I like how Brother Igor said that like we are reflections of the earth, because the shayateen also destroy the earth. How they destroy us? Through the front, back, above, below, right, and center.
Right.
They have destroyed the sky. They have destroyed the ground. They have destroyed the vegetation. They have destroyed our sense of directionality. They have destroyed the wildlife. They have destroyed genetics. They have attacked the earth, and they have destroyed the earth. And now they're after the human beings, and they're destroying the human beings. And they come from all directions.
Change the creation. He will command them to
Changing the
change.
creation of Allah. Yes.
Okay, all right. So that was on, this passage here in Surah number 7, verse 17. Then I will come at them from the front, from their back, from their right, from their left, and you will not find most of them doing any shukr. They won't be thankful. So previously mentioned in another video. So this is the Surat al-Mustaqim, Surat. He's going to sit on Allah's. He says, I will ambush them on your straight path. So that's what he says. I will sit on your Surat al-Mustaqim.
He doesn't even identify with it. Isn't that amazing?
Yes,
that, Even
arrogance,
that detail.
Pure arrogance,
Shaitan is dispossessed of this straight path. He says, your straight path. Because he says, he makes the claim that he's like God. He can tell the angels what to do. He can have his own straight path. He can have his own Hajj. He can have his own religions, right? So that's why it's so amazing that even that detail, which proves the Quran is clearly the truth and preserved. Satan, he could have said the straight path. He says your straight path.
Right. But the main thing I see here, about our energy field, it being attacked, is that we should always be thankful. This is the key thing I think here, that about the straight path. So he says that you will not find most of them thankful. So that means that yes, we have to strive to be amongst those who are always grateful. And I think you can only be truly grateful when you're on a positive spiritual path, as Jerry says. You can only be truly thankful when you are on that positive spiritual path. So he said, get out of it, despised and vanquished. Whoever among them follows you, I will fill hell with you all. And you, Adam, inhabit the garden, you and your spouse, and eat wherever you please, but do not approach this tree, else you will be, again, al-zalimin. You see how they change the meanings from word to word. You will be among the oppressors, You will be the oppressors. But Satan whispered to them to expose to them their nakedness. What's the whisper? Yes, here it is, for waswasa. So here it is, waswasa. He whispered, So قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس. So we looked at that in the previous video. He whispered to them, yeah, to expose to them their nakedness. Okay, so what is the word for nakedness? So, isn't it? I think. So atihima, yeah. So atihima. Nakedness which was invisible to them. Look at that. Okay, interesting. Probably would have to look at the actual translation of that, but it was invisible to them. He said, Your Lord only prohibited you from this tree so that you do not become malakain. So you do not become malakain or become al-khalidin. Yeah, so Khalid, that is definitely eternal. Yeah, eternal. So the
Right.
person whose
So
name is.
we can already see that
Mm,
Satan is enticing
mm,
Adam with
yes.
immortality, and immortality
Mm,
was always a, how can I say this, like a want
mm.
for the
Yeah.
satanic powers.
Yes, yes, yes,
And this is what the transhumanism agenda is, to
yes.
upload your consciousness and to
Live
merge with
forever.
the machines,
Yeah, live
to
forever.
live forever, basically, and to
Yeah.
discard the
Mm,
biology that Allah has given you,
mm.
and
Right.
keep living with your consciousness.
Right.
And this is a very,
The
very
angels part,
damned notion.
Mm,
Yes.
it
yeah.
says angels or immortals.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like if you look around,
Mm,
there's a kind of a hidden element that engages in this exact practice where they remove any trace of their gender specific biology
mm.
to basically make a counterfeit angelic semblance,
Wow.
resemblance.
I see what you're saying.
Because if they do this, because this is from Kabbalah too, because they believe, strangely, astaghfirullah, that Adam Kadmon, they call him the original Adam, is actually androgynous.
Mm,
Well, the Quran actually goes against this because if
he
he
says,
was androgynous,
yeah, he says you and
then
your
he
wife.
wouldn't have a separate wife.
Yeah, he says
Hmm?
you and your wife. Exactly. Yeah.
And he promises them to be angels,
Yeah.
which are kind of not necessarily always gender specific in the Quran.
Mm,
Yeah, usually they're treated as male
mm,
because they're soldiers,
yeah.
and obviously disbelievers also make the angels female.
Mm, mm.
But you'll see that both pronouns are used for angels in the Quran. So
Right.
it's not exactly as clear cut as humans.
Yeah.
So, but that's it's amazing that they actually believe in Kabbalah the fall of Adam alayhi
Yeah.
salam
Yeah.
is because he split into two genders.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this is something they're trying to recreate
Mm,
because
mm.
they believe if they do this, there will be paradise.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That separation is Satan, not,
Yeah.
the actual jinn.
Yeah. Two
They
two
have a different
words.
idea.
Two words Brother Joel brought up in the comments. So he said, after the exposure of nakedness, shame and unworthiness settled in afterwards. And yeah, these are the two words that stand out to me. Again, reading Jerry's work, he's saying that the voices they only give you negativity, and one of the key things, one of those key negative feelings that they want to give you or remind you of is that of shame and unworthiness, continuously. So I just find that's interesting. Shame and unworthiness settled in after the exposure of nakedness, and that's what happened when they listened to the whispers of Shaitan, and did not follow Allah's guidance. Um, so yeah, what is he always promising? Yeah, he's always promising immortality, some kind of. So okay, so this is
In
also.
the in
Yeah.
the other verse too, from
Oh
chapter
wait, hold on, hold on,
20.
hold on. Sorry, sorry. Your Lord only prohibited you from this tree so that you do not become angels. Okay,
Your
so
Lord.
it's interesting. Does that not give you a bit of an inkling that he is not an angel? Um,
Mm,
you know,
mm.
you'd say something else,
A
right?
little bit. Yeah.
Become like me, or I don't know. Anyway, become angels or become immortals. And he swore to them, I am a sincere advisor to you. I
Oh,
love you.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, you were going to say something. Yeah.
Basically, in chapter 20, verse 119, I
Mhm.
think,
Yeah.
that is basically, let me just see the verse.
Okay, 119.
Next one, 120. 120.
Yep.
That's the one where it says that this is a tree of khuld,
Yep.
immortality,
Yes, yes,
and a kingdom
yes.
that never decays. That's what he promises him there.
Yes, thank
So
you. Yes,
taken
yes,
together.
yes. Thank you. Yes. So Shajaratil Khuld, yes. Al-Khuld is the eternal tree, yes. So Khuld is the eternal, and here you got Al-Khalidin. Yes, thank you. That is eternal, yeah. You will become eternal. Obviously, they've chosen immortal, they're synonymous, but yes, it's the eternal tree.
Another thing, I think we mentioned that last time, if I'm not mistaken, but there seems to be a pattern of disbelievers, blasphemers, really, and people that, incorporate others as God, called mushrikeen.
Yeah.
They seem to confuse messengers from humanity with angels quite a bit.
Yes. You mean like saints?
Well, basically, they are under the impression that no human could be given this revelation. No human could come in this form, warning, except that they're an angel or a liar. So the idea is, they're asking the Prophet Muhammad in the Quran, where are your bracelets? Are you an angel? Did you come down? Why are there no angels with you?
Yes, and this is why he repeatedly is told.
And in the Quran, there are places in the Quran where it's like Allah is, I think, addressing the people like, are you shocked that a messenger came to you who's just like
As
you,
a human.
who is from you? Yeah.
Yeah, because the messengers,
he is told to repeat. He is told to repeat. He say Muhammad that I am not an angel. Yeah, he repeatedly
right.
Surah Kahf as well. At the
Because
end, I am a man just like you. I am a man.
It's like they have idealized in their minds that the message or any supernatural message about existence should come from an angel. It cannot come from a human being. They have already
Idealized or idolized?
I think it's both actually, idealized and idolized. And then they're so shocked that Allah trains the messenger in question to say to them that I'm not an angel, as if it's a disclaimer that I'm not an angel, I'm just a human being who has been guided from Allah, and I'm here to guide you as well.
Yep. Okay. So he swore to them, I am a sincere advisor to you. So these two passages are both regarding Iblis. So he swore to them, I am a sincere advisor to you. So he lured them with deception. Ghurur, yeah. So he's the deceiver. He lured them with deception, and they tasted the tree. Shajaratul and their nakedness. Tuhuma. So what's that word for evil? Because that sounds like nakedness. So are you saying that this is connected to the word for evil? Because it sounds similar. Maybe Brother Eagle can tell me. Su, I think. Su is sin, I think. Or atihima is nakedness. Anunnaki, okay, yeah. Anunnaki have bracelets and wings. Okay. Yep. So he lured them with deception, and they tasted their tree. Their nakedness became evident to them, and they began covering themselves with. I think you've said that this isn't leaves either. You've said that this is a warak. Yeah. So what's warak? Some kind of. Okay. When you're back,
it can be leaves.
Can be leaves. Yeah.
It can be leaves, but it's used for paper usually.
Sorry. It is leaves. It's the one in Surah Kahf where they say that take this. What is it? Take this
silver
coin, and you're saying it's not a silver coin. You're saying it's this, isn't it?
It's a leaf at the very least.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the same. In fact, the only type of leaf, other than the one in Surah Al-Kahf that's mentioned, and other than the other verse where it's general, is actually from this very event, the leaves of paradise.
Leaves of paradise, right?
Waraq being leaves and waraq being a single leaf.
Obviously, if they're we're garden, they must be special, yes.
Yeah, and also it's like they're much, much, much bigger because, I think the connotation is that, like, if you go outside, there's a leaf, right? And maybe it's the size of your palm or something, right? But They were using this to cover themselves.
Right.
So
I
okay,
see. Well, you
you
just
could
brought up
conceivably
the
stick.
Devil's Tower, big trees, and now
Right,
you're bringing up, yeah.
right.
So what kind of leaf was this then? Yeah,
Well, they would say it's a fig leaf in Christianity and possibly
yeah.
Judaism.
Mm,
But at whatever kind of fruit it is,
yeah.
it would have to be very big. So, they tell us in like mythology and legends and stories like Arabian Nights,
Yeah.
there's trees whose leaves are the size of the sails of a ship.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if you can imagine, like, you have that much material to make clothing from, and I would imagine they wouldn't be as brittle as we see, like the trees around us, their leaves.
Right.
Um, this is all conjecture, but the idea is there's a reason Allah added that information in the book that's a guidance to the worlds.
Hmm.
It's supposed to unlock knowledge
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, you can't discount anything as just irrelevant details. It's all relevant, all
Yeah.
of it. It's
Absolutely.
the most important thing that he could possibly put in a
Mm.
book for us living in the 21st century.
Yes. Yes. Yep. Okay. So did I not prohibit you from this tree and say to you that Satan is a sworn enemy? Inna shaytana lakuma aduwwum mubin. Yeah. Aduwwum, he is the enemy. He is the clear enemy. Um, they said, Our Lord, we have sinned against ourselves. Tell me, Brother Igor, tuhuma. I don't want to go into this, but just from your knowledge, what is the word for evil or sin? Is it su?
There's a couple of them because I'm not really certain about,
I'm just looking at this,
how to
the
distinguish
connection.
between. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have evil, which is so. Usually,
So,
it's a
right,
so,
right,
and basically, sometimes ashar is
right.
also used translated as evil as
Yeah.
well.
I'm just thinking about the
Um,
one that sounds similar to this, because this one is their nakedness. So yeah, it's
yeah,
interesting.
so if that's nakedness, you'd imagine, like, right off the bat, you're talking about human anatomy that's very, like, the most intimate parts of human anatomy.
Yeah.
And this particular one
Mm.
is not related to the one for reproduction.
Mm.
So you can imagine that,
Mm.
why that became apparent to them,
Right.
because they're never hungry.
Mm.
But now they became hungry, so that
Mm.
that means that they need to eat.
Mm.
So a need to eat means a need, you're going to produce waste.
Right, right.
I
Okay.
mean, just that's one possibility. I don't know what.
Okay, yeah, sure, sure. I get you. They began covering themselves with the leaves of the garden, and their Lord called out to them, Did I not prohibit you from this tree? Okay, they said, Our Lord, we have sinned against ourselves. Unless you forgive us and have mercy on us, we will be of the losers. He said, Fall, some of you, enemies to one another, and on earth you will have residence and livelihood for a while. Again, we're just trying to get the gist about Ibliss here. I know we can do a better study on this, but we're just trying to get an idea of Ibliss and anything connected to what we're looking at in demonology. He said, In it you will live, and in it you will die. Okay, so again, for those who believe about space, yeah, space, he said, In it you will live, and in it you will die, yeah. So that means you can't die in space. That means you can't go to space, yeah. And from it you will be brought out, yeah. And from it you will be brought out. Yeah.
The earth.
Yeah. With giant leaves. Honestly, there's so many examples in the Quran once you start to see that, look, there's more than just about the shape of the earth. There's so many examples to just point out what you believe is a lie. Yeah. There's no leaving this
Absolutely.
place. Yeah.
The
Oh,
Yeah,
containment
is there
field.
any place of escape?
It's
yeah.
the earth is a containment field. That's what we're.
Container. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, Right. So, O children of Adam, we have provided you with clothing to cover your bodies. Hold on, let me just check. 7:10 to 31. Yep, okay. Just a few more verses. O children of Adam, we have provided you with clothing to cover your bodies and for luxury, but the clothing of piety, that is the best. I like that. Interesting. Yeah. As we were speaking about, isn't it? Aura. Aurora. You see that? What kind of aura? Yeah. Aura is, I guess you could say physical clothing, yeah. Physical covering. And aura is what kind, yeah, what is your character like? What are you emanating? That is the best. These are some of Allah's revelations, or these are some of Allah's ayat, so they may take notice. Remember, O children of Adam, let not shaitan seduce you as he drove your parents out of the garden. See, this is the whole point. This is what Allah's telling us this story to make the connection between our story now with Adam alayhi salam's story. Let not Satan seduce you. What's the word seduce? This one I definitely need to know. 727.
It's like persecution, like when you're in a trial or a fitna,
Okay.
fatan, a test.
Okay, so it's not
It's
seduced.
related to that word.
It's not seduced then. It's
Yeah, it's related to persecution when you're under a fitna,
mhm.
which is exactly what Jerry says. Is that basically the
Right.
devils, the demons, they hold humans hostage in a sense, right?
Test, yeah. So fitna, let him not test you. Yes, yes. Okay. So let Satan, let not Satan test you as he drove your parents out of the garden, stripping them of their garments to show them their nakedness. This all just makes so much more sense now. He
And
sees.
notice it doesn't say actually. I mean, I'm not sure how true this is, but I'm pretty sure the word for parents in Arabic is walidain, like your birth parents.
Right.
But
Okay.
here it says abawaykum, like your forefathers, your
Okay.
two forefathers.
Yes. Abawaykum. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. What comes to mind is here in London during the summer. I think was it some kind of naked cycling thing or something. All of this nonsense LGBT. What is it? I can't remember. You have all kinds of crazy things now, isn't it? People doing actual yeah, just this nakedness just takes on a whole nother level, isn't it? Because this is the main thing that's being mentioned. This is the first thing. Am I wrong? This is the first thing that Shaitan did, right? The nakedness. So this is like the biggest one of them all. Um, he sees you, him and his clan from where you cannot see them. Okay, so this is where I remember Brother Walid saying that this is proof that what do you call it? Yeah, he sees you, him, and his clan. So this is what he says, that his clan, meaning the shayateen amongst the jinn, they're invisible, they can see us. And again, this is what Jerry says, that these voices, which we understand to be jinn, they are always watching, they see us. And I've started to accept that a bit more now, that they are watching and hearing everything that I say. But this is the reality that you kind of have to awaken to, I think. And I think people don't want to live that reality that yes, they are watching and they are listening. He sees you, him and his clan from where you cannot see them. We made the devils friends of those who do not believe. Yep. La yu'minun, those who do not have iman. We made the devils. Where is that? We made the shayateen, yeah. So ash-shaytan and the ash-shayateen, yeah. So this is it. This verse actually defines. We've got ash-shaytan, the shaitan, and we've got his shayateen.
His cronies.
Yeah, yeah. Ash-shayateen, his shayateen, which is his clan. Yeah. So he sees you. So that's
Progeny.
clan, yeah. What is that? 727. What's clan? Both of them.
I think that word is actually used for tribe,
Tribe, you're
like
right.
in Arabic.
Yes, Qabiluhu. Yes, you're right. Tribe.
Qabila, like
Yep.
the.
Qabil, yeah. So yes, he has his tribe, and they see us where we do not see them. Okay, and when they commit for fahisha, so when they commit a fahisha, they say, "We found our parents doing it." What's the yep? Aba ana. We found our parents doing it, and Allah
Forefather.
commanded forefathers, yeah. And Allah commanded us to do it. Say, Allah never commands fahisha. Are you attributing to Allah what you do not know? Yeah. So this is this is obviously signature of the kafir.
That's such an impressive verse, because anything that you would intuitively know to be immoral is clearly not from God. It says he does not order immorality.
Yes, yes. Fahisha. What is fahisha?
There is something in the Quran that is defined as
immorality.
The immorality or the
Fahisha.
fahisha.
Fahisha is immorality.
And I believe it's basically boils down to shirk, because, like we mentioned before, the word for zina is related to polytheism or shirk.
Yes.
Because I can't remember which verse it is, but there is a verse that says like, this is the fahisha, and it's to take others as lords besides Allah.
Right.
Something along those lines. So it's like if you commit any immorality you can imagine, what are you actually doing?
Yeah.
You're kind of becoming like a vigilante, or like you're overstepping your place and basically trying to play God in a way, like you can get away with whatever scheme you have.
Yeah. Well, we say immorality here in English. Literal, it's got it as enormous, atrocious deed. But yes, we do understand it. Morality. Yeah. Okay. So, are you attributing to Allah what you do not know? Just two more verses from this extract. Say, my Lord commands justice and to stand devoted at every place of worship. What's the word? The masjid.
Masjid.
Masjid. Yeah. Every place. Okay. And dua, yeah. So do dua. Wad'u.
Wad'u.
Yeah. So call.
Mukhlisin.
Yeah. Yeah. So wad'u mukhlisina lahuddin. Yes. Being sincere. Yes. So mukhlisin, being sincere in your faith, in your deen, to Him alone. Yeah. Again, there is iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. There's your iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Just as He originated you, so will you return. Kama bada'akum. Yeah.
Ta'udun.
Yeah, ta'udun. Bid'ah. That's your bid'ah. Yeah, that's the root bid'ah. So Allah is the originator. Allah is the one that invents everything, that has invented everything. So you will return. Ta'udun. And some He has guided, and some have deserved misguidance. They have taken they have taken ash-shayateen for masters, awliya. Okay, so that's allies. Yeah, they've taken the ash-shayateen as allies instead of Allah.
Awliya is actually for example, in Islamic Naqshbandiya terminology, or these denominations, they use awliya for saints, for their saints. So in a way, you can perhaps think of this as those who have taken the Satan as their awliya, as their like guiding light, as their saint.
Yep, and they are those. Yep, awliya. Okay, custodian, sponsor.
I really like the word. It actually goes along with saint as well, because in certain denominations of Christianity, it's the father's lineage that determines which saint you actually venerate.
Right.
And
right.
That's why they're called patron saints. So awliya is like, to me, like really, I like the word patron. Like it's like you make a patron of these devils. Like they just have full reign, in your wealth and in your children as a partner in this life. But clearly, people deify them. So saints, allies, associates, even awliya sounds like allies in a sense too. But
It does. That's why I like it as well, even more so. Brother Joel says, with the giant leaves that we were speaking about earlier, were they trying to hide their nakedness or hide themselves entirely? I would go to more so entirely, because this whole thing, I mean, just look at how this finishes. Oh, children of Adam, dress appropriately. It's all about covering ourselves. It really is all about covering ourselves. And I don't mean like excessively as well, but I mean, it is about covering, covering ourselves, dress appropriately. So yeah, I would go with the latter, covering ourselves. Yeah, appropriately, as it says. What is the exact words here? Yeah, take your adornment. Okay, so there is none of that. So I don't know where they got that. Oh, children of Adam, take your zinatakum. Yeah, okay. At every masjid and eat. Okay, so there is none of this. I don't know where they got this from. Dress appropriately. because it doesn't say that. Take your
like zina is.
Yeah.
These are things that
take your
make
beauty. Yeah, this makes more sense.
beauty,
Adam, take your beauty and
ornaments.
masjid, yeah, and eat and drink, but do not be extravagant. Okay, so actually, yes, this sounds more. Yeah, I was going towards dress appropriately, but it's not. It's take your beauty. Yeah, interesting. Yep, take your beauty to every masjid and eat and drink, but do not be excessive. He does not like the extreme. This is more like it. Yeah, he does not like the
We're
extravagant.
told that by Jerry Marzinski's research that
Yeah.
the devils hate beauty.
Yes, that's why I'm
Yes.
saying yes, yes.
They
Beauty.
actually try to undermine the beauty of the stars in the heavens.
Yeah. Well, this is
And
why
also
Yes.
modesty.
yeah, this is why I think that this whole tradition, this Arabic tradition of women dressing in black, I've never liked it. I've never liked it. But even more so, completely entirely covering in black. Yeah, it just doesn't. There's something this fell off from the very beginning, and I'm saying this with family members who do this. So I'm saying this, with love.
Women don't like it either, I'll rest assured.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny, Brother Awais?
Yeah.
The very next verse deals with that exact problem in Sunni Islam.
Right.
And you can read it out because this is why the scholars have made a certain thing for men, certain thing for
You're right. I know this one. Yeah, because Allah emphasized this. Those who make halal, I mean, those who make haram, basically flipping what Allah's given us. Allah's given us very simple guidance on what is halal, and they make a very long, complex list of what is halal and haram, which Allah has never sanctioned, which Allah has never given.
Absolutely. He's
Say,
the only one that can make things haram and halal. And his messenger was
This
not.
is interesting. Say, who has forbidden the zina, the beauty, Allah which has brought forth for his slave?
Zina,
Oh, the beauty.
things that adorn you.
Yeah, the beauty. Yeah.
Gold,
Yeah.
silver, precious jewelry, gemstones.
Again, we are given guidance. We are given guidance on how to not be excessive and cover ourselves as well, and not. So there is the description that Allah describes, as I've already written here, about the fortified woman. And I don't want to pick out the women because it is the same for the men as well. But
right.
I did
The
learn.
lowering of the gaze is the same.
Yeah. There's equal guidance for both men and women. But yeah, I just want to point out that the muhsanat, again, I've already said this, the fortified woman, from what I've seen in the Arabic, is simply the one who is contained, stored, guarded, protected, controlled woman. Yeah, not women that commit musafihat, women that are spilling themselves out everywhere, engaging in and provoking passionate, lustful behavior, wishing that you also bend and sway their way. So this is in that passage. So there is this. So it's not like as if Allah's saying, "Oh, take your beauty in the way that they're showing." They're creating ugly thing that they are labeling as beauty. Allah's clearly saying that the natural beauty, or anyway, I don't want to go into this exactly what that is, but yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other topic. What do these materials, like precious metals, what is their purpose in this world? It can't just be to look pretty. That's obviously the main purpose, but there are certain things regarding that. Like for instance, if you see the people in paradise, they actually drink from gold and silver utensils, or sorry, cups. And they eat with these utensils from the same material. And you can look online, like if you use precious metals like copper or silver or gold, which all of the ruling elites from time immemorial have used, there are many, many health benefits from that. And this is why, strangely, the scholars have concluded this is excessive. Who told you that's excessive or not? Because Allah doesn't have a problem with it with people in paradise. Same when they say we reject hadith and we are like these people sitting on couches, in the hadith where no, people in paradise sit on couches. People in paradise dress in silk. The idea is it's not to be excessive. It's not to be,
middle path. Everything is about the middle, And ultimately, yeah, again, it's just simply about those who follow the Quran. Yeah. Those who
Even
are
music,
those who are
even
on the extremes are not following the Quran. It's that simple.
it's
Yeah.
that simple. The neutrality of it shows you it's not intrinsically bad, because something like fahisha is intrinsically bad.
Yeah.
Idolatry, same thing. It's just, you have to,
Yeah.
think.
Adultery. Yeah.
Well, this is the funny thing. This is how Shaitan gets people. He says, "Oh, this terrible act is taking place because of this woman doing this." No, this terrible act is taking place because of the nature of this person.
Mm.
It's a person's nature, not necessarily. Yeah, sure. I'm not denying the effect that women have, when they are not dressed appropriately. But ultimately, from what I can tell, it's all about the person's their
Yeah,
own state, their
it
own
goes both
mindset.
ways.
Yeah, it goes
Yeah,
both.
there's like a contract.
Yeah.
It's like silent contract that
Yeah.
happens,
It's an easy way out.
because obviously,
It's an easy way out. It's like
yeah,
Iblis. It's like Iblis. Oh, it's not my fault. It's his fault. Oh, I'm not the one to blame. It's very easy to have that kind of attitude that, it's got nothing to do with you. It's all to do with them. Um, But yeah, anyway, so very quickly, we've got how many passages on Iblis? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so and we've gone through one, two. If we can just go through one more right now, or yeah, one or two, depending on how short they are, then that will be good progress, inshallah. Um, okay, so 7 10 to 31, and we were looking at 20, so just yeah, 20, 113 to 126. 20. 113 to 126. Yep, thus we revealed it in Arabic Quran, and we diversified the warnings in it, so perhaps they will become righteous, or it produces a lesson for them. So exalted is Allah, the true sovereign. Do not be hasty with the Quran before its inspiration is concluded to you, and say, My Lord, increase me in knowledge. وَقُلْ رَبِّي زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Do not hasten, yeah. Do not be hasty with the Quran before it's yuqda ilayka. Oh, wahyu, yeah. Wahi, yeah. Its transmission is concluded to you. Yep. So that means you do need to be patient with the Quran and study it properly and wait until you have all the information. And we have covenanted with Adam before, but he forgot. Okay, so tell me now. Insan, fanasiya. Here it is, insan. Is that not the same root? So is insan, nasi, yeah, forgetful. Another thing that Jerry brings up, yeah, that they play on our forgetfulness, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, because they have access to the memories.
Yep.
So it's very easy for them, with somebody that has weak defenses.
Right.
They can easily just tap a synapse in your brain,
Yes.
hypothetically, and you forget something
Yep.
at that moment. It's like, I don't think it's the same root, because officially it's not,
Yes.
but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a relationship there, because
Yep. Nice to see Brother Imran's joined us uh whilst he's driving in the car. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother Imran.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, kind of busy in the middle in the moment, but just gonna listen today.
Yeah, yeah. Nice to have you join us towards the end anyway. Yeah, so we've just been going through the second passage of Iblis ultimately. But yeah, hopefully you can join us as we're going through some more. Okay, so this passage, yeah. So the Quran, exalted, do not be hasty with the Quran, and we covenanted with Adam before, but he forgot. Yeah, so this is my question, Brother Eagle. Is it that oh yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about forgetfulness. What did you say, Brother Eagle?
basically it is something that plagues Bani Adam. Even
Yeah.
some people in the Quran specifically,
Mhm.
but you can just look it up, that you have insane is from the root alif nun sin,
Yeah.
and nasi, or forgetting,
Mm.
is from Nun Sin Ya, if I'm not mistaken. So
Okay, so it's two different roots,
I
yeah?
think they're different, but
Okay. Phoenicia, he forgot. Okay. But they share at least a couple of the same seeds, right? Okay.
yeah, at least a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, either way. Yeah, I was just thinking because insan, insane, is there something to that as well? Insan.
Of course,
Yeah.
you nailed it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
Insane.
it be?
So insane. So being insan is not to go insane, or is it? You tell me. Is it another play on words? Yeah, we are insan. Allah
Well,
created us.
think about it. When you take Arabic words,
Yeah.
and I imagine people did this,
Yeah.
they created fake languages to basically bastardize the meaning in Arabic in some cases.
Right.
So you'll find like you know, like there's many cases of this. Like you go to a word in Arabic
Mm.
and it means something, but in other languages like English or French,
Mm.
it means something like more, I don't know, like it doesn't actually reflect the value of the word. Like for instance, I don't know,
Right.
insane and insane would be one example, but
Yeah, because we're not gonna say that when Allah said He created jinn and ins, we're not gonna say He created madness and insanity, are we? Yeah, we're not gonna go
no,
that.
that's a different word in Arabic.
Yeah, right. But I know that we'll save the jinn bit on madness when we get to there. Okay, so where were we? I'm getting lost. Okay. Yeah, so he forgot. And we covenanted with Adam before, but he forgot, and we found him in no resolve. And when we said to the angels, prostrate yourselves before Adam, they prostrated except for Iblis. He Abba, he refused. We said, "Oh Adam, this is an enemy to you and to your wife. So let him not drive you out of paradise, for then you will suffer. In it you will never go hungry nor naked." So this is similar. Oh yeah, we were just looking at this. Nor will you be thirsty, nor will you swelter. So these are the conditions of man, yeah, to feel hunger, to want to cover our nakedness, to want to satisfy our thirst, and nor will you swelter. What's that one? Adha. Yeah, heat. Yeah, nor will you swelter. Yeah, basically keep our body temperature at the right level. But Satan whispered to him, he said, "Oh Adam, shall I show you the tree, the tree of eternity and a kingdom that will never decay?" And so they ate from it, and their nakedness became exposed to them, and they began covering themselves with the leaves of the garden, the warak that we just mentioned. Adam disobeyed his Lord, so became misled. Adam وَأَصْوَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَى غاوين al-Ghawin. So he became of the what is it? Ghawin, the lost ones, yeah, the astray. But then his Lord recalled him. I think Musa alayhi salam was also lost, but then he was guided. I think Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was lost and he was also guided. So it's the same with Adam alayhi salam. But then his Lord recalled him, pardoned him, and guided him. Fataba, yeah, he pardoned him. No, that's Tawbah. No, wait, pardon. Afu, yeah, Afu is pardon. Tawbah is repent, yeah. So he repented. This one is actually alayhi wahada, and guided him. He said, "Descend from it altogether, some of you enemies of others, but whenever guidance comes to you from me, whoever follows my guidance will neither go astray nor suffer. But whoever turns away from my remembrance, for him is a confined life, and we will raise him on the day of resurrection blind. He will say, 'My Lord, why did you raise me blind, although I was seeing?'" Now this is stark warning. My guidance, yeah. What is Allah's guidance? It's the Quran. Whoever follows my guidance will neither go astray nor suffer. The other one, what did we have? He will have no fear, nor will he grieve. The one who follows guidance. Astray, yadullu, yeah. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. This is what we seek for. So Allah's guidance. But whoever turns away from my remembrance, dhikri, and Allah's remembrance is the Quran, dhikr, for him is the confined life, and we will raise him on the day of resurrection blind. He will say, "My Lord, why did you raise me blind, although I was seeing?" He will say, look at this ayat, it's about the ayat. "Just as our ayat came to you and you فَنَسِيتَهَا. Wow. And then Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what does he say? My was it my qawmi, yeah, my people, they did hijrah from this Quran. So here it is again. He will say, just as our ayat came to you and you forgot them, so today will you be forgotten. Deleted, yeah. You will be forgotten. May Allah make us amongst the successful who stick with Allah's ayat and not be amongst, may Allah protect us from falling into the traps of these people who are deleted, who are forgotten. Who said that recently? Someone said that deleted. Yeah, I think it was Howard. I think Howard said that deleted. Yeah, those who forget Allah. Yeah, absolutely deleted. This is a big one. Okay. Where are we? So that was 20 up to 126. Yep, and we're done there. Okay, and another passage. So we've looked at 710, 15. Let's see, 1526 to 50. 1526. Is there a short passage we can do? Okay, well, first of all, let's have a look at this one. Ibliss. Okay, Ibliss as a king, 1850. So this is in Surah Kahf, 1850. So again, we're looking at Ibliss today. And we said to the angels, prostrate before Adam. So they prostrated except Ibliss. He was of the jinn, and he deviated from the command of his Lord. Will you take him and his descendants as friends instead of me, although they are your enemy? What an evil alternative for the wrongdoers. Maybe we can finish with this. Maybe we'll finish with this one. Yeah, how you guys doing? Okay, let me have a look at the comments.
Sorry, a little preoccupied at the moment.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Anyone can chip in.
Yeah.
Be a great appreciate.
No, then maybe this is a good time to finish. Okay, so no problem. I'm just going to finish with this verse, and then we can come back to Iblis as soon as possible. But that will have to be after Jerry, inshallah. Okay, so let me just have a look at this 1850, and we finish off with this. 1850. Okay, and when we said to the angels, do sujood to Adam, they did sujood except Iblis. He was of the al-jinn, and we will be we will be looking into that next time. And he rebelled against the command, the amr of his Lord. Will you then take his dhurriya? Will you then take shaitan's, Iblis's dhurriya,
Offspring.
his offspring, as awliya, as protectors, as allies, other than me, while they are to you enemies? Yep.
See, that pieces everything together. That's why there's no contradiction in the Quran, because he's directly telling you, if you just put all the pieces of evidence together,
right,
when people commit shirk, and the definition of shirk is basically you are calling upon something that is not God. Allah says that you are calling upon devils, rebellious devils. And it just so happens to be that these awliya that they're calling upon are actually the progeny of Iblis.
Right.
And his progeny, to go even deeper, are related to what our nafs is, because there is something called a qareen in every human being. Imagine you are calling upon your nafs, your qareen, the part of you that is constantly trying to sway away from God,
right,
which is mimicking you. It's not actually a human.
Right.
And like for instance, people will say they pray to Jesus, they say dua to Jesus, or to Maryam, or they will even talk to Muhammad, peace be upon him, or they will even talk to Imam Ali or whoever.
Yeah.
This is actually their devil, their personal devil that they are talking to.
Right.
That's what Allah said.
Okay. They are talking to their personal devil. Okay. Okay. So maybe we'll finish with this now that you mentioned it with the Quran. Here it is, right? So you got a good Quran and a bad Quran, is that right?
Well, I'm not sure if that's exactly the definition. Just because if you look at every instance of the word Qarin,
Right.
yeah, instance of the word Qarin, it's related to Satan.
Right.
Like basically, I don't know. I think I sent you something. Maybe we can look at another time. But basically,
yes, you did. You did. Hold on. Let me just quickly bring up.
I think that's a good summary of. One second.
You did. Yep. Sorry. Yeah. Let me bring up Corrine. Yep. Okay. Defined as intimate comrade within the temporal earthly existence of humans with several characteristics. Okay. Defined as intimate comrade. Yep. So as you got here, so I just want to use this. So 5023, his escort, his Qareen. وَقَالَ قَرِينُهُ هَذَا مَا لَدَيَّ عَتِيدٌ. 5023. Have you got that? 5023. Yeah, you've got 5022 and 5023. And yeah, so you got them here. Okay. Evil minion of the devil. Okay. Destined to reside in hellfire. Okay, so let me see what you've put here. They are aware of their damnation. His escort will say, this is what I have ready. You are negligent of this, so we lifted your screen from you, and your vision today is sharp. So this is the day of judgment, yes?
Yeah, so basically we will see these things. We
Yeah.
can't see them right now.
Yeah.
But we will, and that's why it says your vision is iron.
Yep. Yep. Throw into hell every stubborn kafir, preventer of good, aggressor, doubter, who fabricated another god with Allah. So toss him into the intense agony. His escort, his Qareen, will say, so yeah, that isn't quite right what I said. Yep. They're all negative, yeah? The Qareen is the negative, yeah? Qareen is negative.
Because he says the same thing that their ancestor Ibliss says. I didn't make them go astray. I didn't make them rebel.
Right. So Qareen is another name given, a bit like how we have different names of Shaitan. Qareen is another name given to, yeah, as you just said, intimate devil, right? Intimate devil.
Yes, devil companion. It's also like related to the root for horns as well, right?
Qarn, yes, yes.
So it's like even Qarun as well. Qarun is a villain in the Quran. And basically what it seems like is this companion is just a part of our reality. Ever since Adam alayhi had that event occur with him.
Right.
And now we're in this fallen state. Basically, you know how we mentioned the body, the human body is created analogous to the earth, and partially the heavens as well.
Right.
Well, the dunya is shared by humans and jinn, unequivocally. So the body would also be shared if that was the case. And it seems like the reason why the nafs whispers to mankind is because there happens to be some kind of, you know, dark side, inner demon, whatever you want to call it. That is just a part of the reality of the test for Bani Adam. This is just what we have to deal with. You know, this is not to diminish like the amazing blessings and mercy and all, because the reason why we have evil in the world in many ways is to remind us of what is the truth, the positive, the beauty, the splendor, the provision, because that is so much stronger. The light, right? Everything flees in the darkness. Everything that's the darkness, it flees the light. It gets that's why, like, the stars themselves are used. The stars, imagine the light of the stars is used to vanquish the demonic transgressors, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like, we have this Qarin, and you can see from those conclusions and those verses listed there that's what we're up against. They're basically doing everything they can to circumvent the fact that their plan is weaker than Allah's plan.
Yeah.
This is something Jerry also noticed as well, because he alluded to the fact that they try to drain the energy, the life, anything that's stronger than them, because they're cowardly, right? Because
they
plan is weak.
They need that. Yes, they don't have food. They need our food. They don't have bodies. They need our bodies. And the only way to do that is to create a negative environment within this toroidal field. Yeah, break this toroidal field, make it negative, and now they can feed and attach themselves to us.
If you go, Brother Awais, to the I have for the jinn, that just like where the root jinn comes from. It's one of the derivations in the Quran, even, is fetus. And a fetus or a germ cell, like for a plant or something, it's always in the belly, in the navel area.
Right.
That's exactly where things are hidden and concealed.
Yes, yes.
It has to do with this idea. I mean, even Yunus, he was in this sea monster. He was in its belly.
Yeah.
And, basically, what we're looking at is basically, this is the psychology from the Quran itself. This is the understanding of our true psyche, and why it's always pulling at the strings from under the surface, concealed, right, in the darkness, because the less that we can perceive it, the more power it has. Or that we attribute to it, really. So that's why, Adam's story is so crucial, because he was exposed. And why did Allah make it a fact to say about Ibliss that he was of the jinn? It's not an understatement. He's basically showing that this particular group of aliens, to us, they are defined by concealment. That's part of their nature, because jinnan, that root, is all about things that are hidden, concealed.
Yes.
So when Allah says that he is a clear enemy, well, wait a second. Why is he saying that? Because even though all of these beings have this advantage, that they can get away with literally murder through concealing themselves via us, Allah is saying he's a clear enemy, because even that is visible to a certain extent, that it becomes one of God's signs that you cannot explain with the reductionist science that we have today. You just can't. So, when you see somebody that's possessed, the word for that in Arabic is jinnah. And for a person that's possessed, like you are a possessed person. Majnoon. It's not a coincidence. So this madness, everybody can see, oh my God, this is this is satanic. This is when someone goes into those where you see like their eyes are wide and their grin is like stretching from ear to ear.
Well, this is it now. I'm getting to the point where I don't see a single illness as being anything other than possession, madness. I'm beginning to now see that, any kind of illness is some kind of affliction, especially mental illness. What we see as mental illness today, that is, madness, 100%. But to finish on a positive note, so with this toroidal field, just reminding ourselves that, yeah, Shaitan said he is going to attack us from behind and in front and from our right and our left. So yeah, as you said, that this is here for the reason so then we can see the truth, and the truth will set us free. So we are looking into demonology, not out of some demented, twisted design interest, but simply for the purpose of, yeah, pointing out the enemy, the art of war, pointing out the enemy and tooling ourselves up for what it is that we need to know and what it is we need to protect ourselves from. And so, yeah, this is the purpose of looking at Ibliss, because I do believe, even as we're looking at this, who's doing this? Everyone's obsessed with some kind of extreme positivity and extreme happiness and extreme wishful thinking, and not looking at what they would probably class as negative. But we know that we have to do this because this is the truth and this is the reality. So yeah, may Allah enable us to continue doing this. And yeah, we'll leave it here for today. The Shaitan, the Ibliss, he was of the jinn, and yeah, he is our avowed enemy. And so we have to continue to protect ourselves because they are there. They see us from where we do not see them. And yeah, so Jerry coming up, he will expand more on this, inshallah. And yeah, to everyone listening, yeah, assalamu alaikum, and see you on the next one, inshallah. And assalamu alaikum, brothers Joel, Igor, Imran, Sadi, and yeah, see you on the next one, inshallah.
Salam, brothers.
Wa alaikum salam.